February 2015. 12-year-old Yao Junjie makes his way to the center of the swimming pool at Hotel Royal in Newton. But Junjie doesn't know how to swim. The more he struggles, the more he drifts towards the deep end. By the time Junjie is spotted, he is totally submerged. 9 days later, he dies from pneumonia. In the very same month at Orchard Parade Hotel, 15-year-old Wu Jingtang is also going for a swim. He jumps into the deepest end. He disappears and does not surface. 10 minutes later, a student spots Jingtang and drags him out of the water. He is pronounced dead less than an hour later.
Both these tragic cases happened 4 years ago and had one thing in common. There were no lifeguards present.
But these tragedies are not isolated cases in Singapore.
A 2017 study found that lifeguards were not present in 7 out of 10 drowning or near drowning cases between 2012 and 2014. And the study also revealed that the majority of drowning cases occurred in private pools.
Lifeguards are mandatory at public swimming pools. But private pools, including those at hotels and condominiums, aren't legally obliged to provide lifeguards.
So if the risk of life is the same, then surely every pool should be supervised.
So what CPR does is that it circulates the blood because
I'm meeting Richard Tan. With over 4 decades of expertise in lifeguarding, Richard is the president of the Singapore Life Saving Society. It's a non-profit organization committed to lowering the rate of Singapore's drowning deaths.
Why is it there aren't lifeguards at every pool?
Most policymakers around the world don't feel that it's necessary to have lifeguards at every pool because pools come in all shapes and sizes and it's not easy to have lifeguards for every single pool.
But studies have shown that the most drowning cases occur at pools which don't have a lifeguard present, right?
That's right. What can be a solution is that you can have the pool, but if you want to open it for use by the public or other users, then you have a lifeguard at that time. So you don't need a full-time lifeguard, but you don't allow people to use the pool unless there are lifeguards around.
And how feasible is that option?
I think that's far more practical than having mandatory lifeguards at every pool, which is difficult to implement. Even a home pool would require a lifeguard, and that's not practical for a homeowner.
And if it were mandatory to have a lifeguard at every pool, do we have enough?
I think it's a chicken and egg question. I think if there is a demand and they are paid well enough, there will be people who will train and qualify to work as lifeguards. But I don't think that is currently the situation. So most people see that as a dead-end job. There's not much progression, maybe to a senior lifeguard, and that's it.
There are more than 2,600 licensed pools in swimming complexes, hotels, condominiums and private clubs. A 40% increase since 2012. But the pool of lifeguards remains small. Out of nearly 500 candidates certified as lifeguards each year, less than a third work full-time. I want to know if it's feasible for private pools to hire lifeguards. So I'm visiting Simei Green Condominium. Joseph Tan is its manager.
So is there a lifeguard at this private pool?
There's no lifeguard here
Why not?
because you don't have a very big crowd. One thing, the pool is underutilized. So the cost of getting a lifeguard will be a high cost to the management.
So how much more will it cost to have a lifeguard on duty at private pools?
Okay, usually a lifeguard will cost usually about 2,000 to 2,004 to have 2 lifeguards per shift.
Yeah.
Total is about 4. So 2,000 times 4 is about 8,000. Every resident will average pay about 10% increase to their management fee. Residents who don't swim often or don't swim at all, they will just tell you, why should we pay the extra amount?
What if we were to open the swimming pool only at certain times with a lifeguard present?
That's quite impossible because residents pay their own management fee already. So if you tell them that certain timing you cannot come down, certain timing you can, it's quite a hazard to them. Likewise, hotels, the same thing. Then I think next moment there'll be a lot of complaint.
So how then can private pool operators better ensure the safety of users?
When there's no lifeguard, you need to get some other thing to replace and stand by for safety. One is camera. So the CCTV will be pointing at the swimming pool where we will be able to see from the office. Second thing is more lifebuoy around. Put up enough signage to tell people that there's no lifeguard on duty, willing to swim at their own risk.
But surely cameras are just an added measure, right? They cannot replace having lifeguards.
Definitely, with the lifeguard, it's an immediate response that will be faster. But nevertheless, management will choose to do a much more cost-saving way. CCTV is only about a few $100s where they install, and then the monitor screen is there and that's it.
But who is watching these CCTVs?
The security guard in our MA office.
But are the security guards trained to save people?
Most of the security guards, if we ask around, they are not equipped with life-saving knowledge, but they are equipped with basic first aid and CPR knowledge.
So it's impractical to restrict private pool opening hours, but at the same time to have a lifeguard at every pool all the time is also not possible.
But I wonder, even with lifeguards around, could accidents still happen? I've been looking into the issue of pool safety. So far, I've discovered that only public pools require lifeguards to be present. But that doesn't trouble me as much as this. In December 2017, 2 lifeguards failed to save a 6-year-old. Findings revealed that the on-duty guards had left their posts. One was distracted by his phone, while the other was busy arranging chairs. So even with lifeguards, accidents have happened. Last year, Derek Wang wrote an article about how lifeguards should be more vigilant at pools. Equipped with life-saving skills himself, Derek's agreed to share his opinions on lifeguards, but only through a phone interview.
So Derek, what made you decide to write this article in the first place?
It was because my daughter had a near drowning incident during her swimming classes. The instructor's back was facing her, and my daughter was swimming from the left to right, and at that moment, she was sinking into the water while no one was helping her. But I was watching from a distance. I saw my daughter is sinking, so I quickly swam over to pick her up.
Okay, so the lifeguards were present, but they did not notice your daughter sinking into the water.
Nobody noticed except for myself.
So is this something you observed happening quite often?
I've encountered a lot of times where lifeguards are chatting together or even using their mobile phone while on duty.
Would more lifeguards help solve this problem?
It doesn't help at all. If nobody is doing their job, it's still down to the lifeguards' professionalism.
They shouldn't be doing that.
It's clear there are serious issues with safety at our local pool. Are our lifeguards really behaving unprofessionally? I want to understand the challenges our lifeguards face on the ground. And what better way than to observe one of them? Meet Andy Xiao, a lifeguard with over 20 years of experience. It's 10 a.m. on a Sunday at Tampines Swimming Complex, and the pool is already packed.
I've actually noticed that in the entire swimming complex, this is probably the most crowded and busiest place.
Suddenly, 15 minutes into Andy's shift, a young swimmer is struck with a dizzy spell.
So Andy, how can you guys keep an eye on everyone that's in the pool all the time?
We always constantly doing rotation, moving. Our eyes scanning the pool, probably scans those who are more vulnerable, small kids, whether the kids are with their parents.
But I'm sure after a while you might like sort of zone off.
Yes, but we will do, like come out, we stretch, we will walk, we will do a rotation, to another point, another pool.
Some people have said that they've noticed lifeguards, standing in a corner, chatting with each other, or their backs are turned, they're looking out to the other side of the pool,
Sometimes it's like we do need to communicate, Sometimes when we are near, we will pass by and then we will just give some information about the pool.
So earlier today, there was a bit of an incident with one of the swimmers, and you guys were attending to her. Maybe since you're distracted by this incident, there'll be something else happening. Are there enough lifeguards to keep an eye on the whole pool?
Yes, because normally in a deep pool, I have 2 lifeguards. And while I'm tending to the girl, my partner is notified that I'm tending the girl, and he's on a high chair, on a high view. That he can view all the scanning the pool area, and at the pool itself.
So you're saying it's still okay? There's a system to ensure that
That's right.
someone is still watching the rest of the pool?
That's right, yes. So at any point in time, the lifeguard is always looking at the pool.
But you must admit that there must be times when you might miss something, right? It's possible that you could miss.
It's possible, that's where parents plays a part. The lifeguard is eye on the kids, but weekend especially, there's a lot of children, around and all. So parent plays a part, to look at the child.
So Sport Singapore says that children using the pool should be accompanied by an adult at all times. The question is, how many parents are actually doing that? I'm playing police to more than 20 parents by the pools. Lady on the phone. So it's been about 15 minutes and I've noticed quite a few distracted parents already. There were 2 that were reading, there were another 4 on their mobile phones, and I even saw one taking a nap.
Something happened to my younger boy.
Oh, something did happen last
happened. When I also looking at my phone, he had the floating device with him. I don't know, is it he slipped off or he took it off? I still feel very bad.
And
I should have just stayed, close enough to watch him. I always remember it's a lesson learned.
Yeah, okay.
If anything will happen to him, I think I don't know, beyond words lah.
Do you have a kid swimming in the pool here?
I have 2 boys in there.
How much attention are you really paying to them?
Usually, if I'm not addicted to my drama, then I'll be watching them.
Oh, so do you ever feel that maybe you should be watching them 100% of the time?
Yes, I keep making sure I look up.
You comfortable not paying full attention because?
Because I know she's with a coach. I mean, we're human.
Right.
And there are a lot of distractions around us. So I don't think I know anyone who really devotes 100% of their time to just watching their kid.
Do you think it's reasonable to expect parents to be watching their kids all the time, 100% of the time?
I think depending on whether the child is able to swim already. She has already taken 2 swimming tests.
Okay.
Yeah, so I know she can swim.
But can we let our guard down just because our children know how to swim or have a flotation device with them? I want some answers. So I meet Jay Tan, founder of the swim school Happy Fish. He trains kids as young as 4 months old.
So some parents feel that their kids have learned how to swim already. They've gone to swimming lessons, so therefore they don't need to supervise them at the pool. Is that true?
There's a lot of parents that will think like that, but it's not true. They are not safe.
Okay, why aren't they safe?
There's a lot of situations that can cause accident to happen. Let's say a student has been swimming in this pool is shallow, but when they go to a different pool, the situation may be different. And what if somebody just swim blocking the kids, and the kids will get panicked because they couldn't stand up, and they start to swallow a lot of water, causing the water to fill up the lung.
What about flotation devices like this?
This is just for leisure. It's not a life-saving tool. First day that I moved into my condo, immediately I saved a child, almost drowned. So the mom was chit-chatting with other people, and the kids was having a ring float and playing in the water, and the ring float just topple. A lot of accidents happen when the child is wearing this.
And I've seen it usually comes forward like that when the kid tries to move forward,
Yes.
kicking, right?
Yes. And this become dangerous.
Why is that?
Because the center of gravity can shift to the front and they can just overturn.
And the kid may go head first into the water.
Head first, and it's very difficult to
Can't
recover.
come back. So are these flotation devices actually more harm than good?
These devices give a false sense of security many times because they are holding the kids in the upright position.
Correct.
So the kids cannot really feel their own buoyancy. So when something happens, like the ring float slip or the arm float slip, they are going to just sink to the bottom very fast.
So is there any way to ensure that kids are drown-proof?
There's no way you can drown-proof a child.
Yeah.
In my opinion, you have to always supervise. Even the most competent swimmers can meet with accidents.
A 2017 report by the Singapore General Hospital and the Singapore Civil Defence Force found that children below the age of 10 made up 40% of drowning victims, making them the group with the highest risk of drowning.
But what if the victim is still struggling and can't get the float?
How long does it take before one goes from drowning to dead?
I've learned that it's not a must to have a lifeguard at every pool. But to expect parents to keep an eye on their kids all the time, that's also virtually impossible. So in the case of a near-drowning incident, what should I do?
Drowning is typically a silent act, where the person's mouth sinks below the water and reappears when they try to breathe. A drowning person usually struggles on the water's surface for 20 to 60 seconds before sinking underwater. Once underwater, the average person has less than a minute before running out of air and becoming unconscious. So with no cries for help, time is of the essence to spot and save a drowning victim. I'm heading back to our Tampines hub to get some basic life-saving tips from Andy, a lifeguard of over 20 years.
So let's say I'm in a private pool and I see someone drowning and there are no lifeguards present. In fact, there's no one else present.
Right.
What should I do?
Most of the time, people's misconception is like they jump in and do a rescue.
That's right.
And when they approach the victim will grab one of them and they will not let go. And that's way too dangerous. So what you do is like, you should shout at them and ask them whether they're okay. If they are really in distress, you get a floating device like a life buoy, throw it to them, and we'll ask them to kick to safety. The last resort is to get into the water.
Would the same rules apply if it's a young child that's in the swimming pool?
If it's a shallow pool, you can get in the water and approach the child. If it's a deep pool, you can always get a life buoy and you can hold on to the buoy and approach the victim.
So how do I throw a life buoy?
Why don't you give it a try?
Okay, I will. I'll just grab this one here.
My colleagues are in the water to be a victim.
Oh no, he's drowning. Okay.
To him.
Whoops.
Yeah, that's way too far, way too far.
So he would have drowned with that?
Yes.
So is there a proper way to throw a life buoy?
Yes, we do, yes. I'll get my colleague to demonstrate.
All right.
Okay, please move forward. Okay, he's a right-hander, so you're going to hold the life buoy in the right hand. And then he's going to put his left leg forward, left arm up, okay, to get a balance. And he's going to shout to the victim to get his attention. Are you okay? Hey, get the floor. Okay, you're going to swing forward back to get a momentum, eyes keeping on the victim, and a good swing.
Okay, but what if the victim is still struggling and can't get the float?
Okay, then he has to get in the water to do the water rescue. Okay, maintain distance and pulling the victim, helping the victim back, and constantly keeping calm of the victim.
Okay, so make sure the victim can hang on to the float and then guide them back.
Correct.
But I realized something, that when I was throwing this life buoy, I realized that it's actually quite heavy and quite hard, you know, and I was actually aiming for the victim when I was throwing it.
Yes. That's really bad because this thing is really hard. If it lands on the victim, it will cause more harm. So it's always good to throw within the reach of the victim.
That's actually quite tough because depending on the weight, the distance, you're trying to guess exactly where to throw it, right?
That's right.
Which can be quite challenging for
Yes, that's
someone
right.
who's never done it before.
Correct, yes. So you got to practice, and a few times you'll be good.
When you say practice, how many of us will get a chance to practice with an actual lifebuoy?
They can take up a life-saving course, which includes throwing a flotation device to a victim and doing a CPR as well.
So, trying to save a life isn't as easy as I thought. Which is why authorities are testing out new technology. Sport Singapore is the largest employer of lifeguards. And since December 2017, it has been piloting a drowning detection system at Hougang Swimming Complex. Delphine Fong heads the team overseeing the implementation of this system.
This is a network of overhead multispectral cameras that scan the pool constantly. It's also equipped with a specialized program, tracks and analyzes the trajectories of swimmers, such that when a person is in distress in the water, the system will then send an alert via an alarm.
It's like a camera key pool, and it will go dee 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 in this corner, and they know exactly where someone is.
It will actually indicate the exact location of this person in distress. So the key objective is to save lives and to be able to inform anyone around the pool very quickly and very promptly, because the faster you can retrieve this person from the water, the higher the chance of survival of that person.
Upon detection of a person sinking to the bottom of the pool, this system alerts lifeguards and the public in just 15 seconds. Sport Singapore plans to expand the system to almost half of the 26 public pools by 2020.
So technology may save lives, but it still requires human intervention. That means all of us need to be alert in the pool. And for our lifeguards, even more so.